Oh, a nice room, Brian. This is a real classy place.
We've got to talk. You've got to answer some questions.
Like what?
Like that old man? Was anything he said true?
Ah, stupid old fool. Kept me weak by feeding me animal brains while they drained me like two shriveled parasites. They kept me weak, but I still left them. Is that what you want, Brian? Want me to leave you too?
No, I just...
Damn right you don't. So what are we doing here?
Look, I just want to sort things out. You've got me so I can't think clearly. I can't function clearly.
And I thought you were having such a good time.
I was. I am, but I think something awful happened last night, and I can't remember it. I don't remember where I went or who I met or what I did. All I remember is feeling something sticky in my pants and then finding them covered in blood. And not my blood.
Part of my talent, Brian, is to spare you any unpleasantness.
Yeah, but when it comes to blood in my underwear, I want to know how it got there.
Well, it's no big deal. Nothing to get upset about. Came from that girl at the club.
What girl?
The girl whose brains I ate.
What?
The blood came from a girl whose brains I sucked out.
You sucked out her brains?
Yeah, right through her mouth.
Is she dead?
Of course she's dead. What, are you kidding?
What are you telling me, that we killed someone last night?
You really don't remember any of it?
No, I don't!
How about the night watchman? Remember him?
The night watchman?
Yeah. Sucked him dry in a junkyard. First night we went out.
Oh, my God.
Want to hear the details?
No!
You're a wreck, Brian. You've got to relax. Why don't you put me on your neck and calm down?
No way! It's not gonna happen again!
What isn't?
Killing people!
Oh. I thought you meant getting high.
We can't keep killing people every time you're hungry.
Oh, yes, we can. We'll do anything I want us to do. You're mine now, Brian. I own you.
Praise the Lord for bringing us this generous bounty.
Just give me all the bacon and eggs you have. Wait. I worry what you just heard was, give me a lot of bacon and eggs. What I said was, give me all the bacon and eggs you have.
Living flesh.
I guess that's about 56 minutes, huh?
Like me. Back on the menu.
That's why I'm hungry. Each word I say, farther into a radical no high.
No secret. It's amazing. Don't skip on them. I'd buy that for $1.
Not that for me, please. I'm trying to get back.
Oh, look at me. I'm another thing.
Easily upset.
I'm so fucking hungry, Bill. I'm so hungry. I never knew anyone could be so hungry.
What about that time I found you naked with that bowl of jello?
Hello, folks, and welcome to the Sin Beef Podcast. I am one of your hosts, and damn glad to be here. Damn glad to meet you, as the man said. And I'm Gary. I'm rambling already. See, this works. It's just been a long time. But with me tonight is folks you know, and I'm excited to tell you who those folks are right now. My brother in Knoxville, Tennessee. You know him, you love him, Mr. X. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing all right. How is everyone doing out there in TV land?
Oh, doing great, man. Doing great. Also with us tonight in this rotating cast, we'll talk about that later. It's our man, and I forget which part of California this gentleman's from, but you know him, you love him, from the No More Room in Hell podcast and other endeavors. Mr. Mike Merriman, how you doing, sir?
I'm doing great. I hear some familiar voices that I actually haven't heard in the podcasting capacity in a minute, or at least with me on a show. So I am super excited. And ladies and gentlemen, the beef has been dry aging for a while. So we're ready to take it out of the locker and get going.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah, Iris was supposed to be here, but she had some stuff going on. So next time Iris will join us, it'll be like we're minus a Tilly, but we're having a Theme Warriors reunion on this here podcast. go on the Wayback Machine for that one. I used to enjoy that show quite a bit, and it's good to have friends. And this is my goal of goals. It's trying to get friends back together again that I haven't talked to in a while, and you know, so I talk to more. But it's just you miss people. So let's do
Well,
stuff.
the,
Stuff's
the
great.
the rumor is, Gary, that if you say Theme Warriors 3 times, we will have to get Doug Tilley on a future episode as well. So
Well,
just keep that in mind.
he is welcome because I happen to like the Master Tilly, but he keeps himself so busy with the Cinema Smorgasbord podcast network of many shows. If you guys have checked it out, him and Liam throw down, if you will, on many a subject, many an actor interchanged that started with one Eric Roberts, and yes, it's they do a great job over there. Uh, but yeah, tonight we're here and to talk about film and the love of film and the sliminess of it all, if you will. And I'll kick it to number one, Mr. Mike Merriman. What you been watching lately, sir?
Well, I just saw Scream 7. I just talked about it on 2 different podcasts on my own, Fresh Cuts with Mr. Venom and the one and only Donna Nelly. And then I was also a guest on the 22 Shots of Moods and Horror, which I think that episode's going up tonight, where we talked about I guess you can consider it the new trilogy of Scream 5, 6, 7. So I'm all screamed out, if you can imagine. What else? I mean, pretty much you name a new release horror movie that's in the theater, and I've probably seen it. I see most of that in the theater. I saw a pretty neat one on Shudder called Honey Bunch, which was pretty. It was like an eerie little flick about ask the question: when does care become control? I like the little theme in that one. I just watched Hot Fuzz and Shaun of the Dead. Probably gonna watch The World's End tonight later to round off that trilogy. I mean, I could keep going. I'll keep it brief because I watch tons of movies as we all do, but yeah, just think new releases in the theater. Probably have seen it, and then I've actually picked up collecting a little bit lately. I was kind of like done buying physical media early in the Blu-ray era, so like a lot of the 4Ks I'm buying aren't even like rebuying. It's just stuff I had never bought before. So I feel less guilty spending money on stuff for the first time as opposed to like the third, fourth time with all the different media advances we've had. But yeah, that's just a small piece of it. So I'll pass it on to the next guy.
Cool. X, what you been watching, man?
I finally snagged the 4K UHD set of The House with Laughing Windows from Arrow. And that movie has been on the top of my please let a boutique label give this movie the treatment it deserves wish list for like a decade. So I was really glad to see it because the transfer just looks amazing. It's pristine and it's wonderful. I love that movie. It's really creepy and it builds up a lot of distrust and confusion within the characters really organically. It doesn't feel like there's a tonal shift going on until you realize, oh crap, what is actually happening here? So great set, got a book, got a poster, super pleased with that. Um, and that's about it as far as movies. I know I'm reading my way through Lord of the Rings because I promised my wife, the cootie bug, that I would. And then I need to start reading Gravity's Rainbow by Thomas Pynchon. So after all that, I'll probably just read some Sweet Valley High to get rid of all the serious literature in my head. And I don't know, for music, because I'm a Renaissance man, film and books and music. Listen to Failure, listen to Chat Pile, listen to Crippling Alcoholism, and listen to Stacking Thirds to Heaven. You'll thank me later.
I gotta write these down. See, you know.
I can send you a list.
Do it, man. Do it. Oh man, I was trolling Tubi, and this is always a good thing because you find stuff on Tubi, they drop stuff on there, and somebody told me this movie. This is a good part of the internet. You find these movies out on the internet that you don't know about, and I watched one called Flatbed Annie and Sweetie Pie, Lady Truckers. This was
Annie Potts.
Annie Potts in this movie, yes, and Kim Darby looking adorable too, and yeah, this is from the '70s. This was like a failed TV pilot that they made a movie out of, and it's about Fred Willard, who plays Kim Darby's husband, gets attacked by these marauders. He's a truck driver, and she has to take his truck or a new truck. I forget how it works, but she teams up with Annie Potts, who's like this no guff lady trucker, to go collect a load so they can make money. And there's this thing where there's drugs in the trucks. These guys are after them, and Harry Dean Stanton's in this movie singing while he's driving a car, playing a harmonica and shit. And this is all a pure good, people. And I will say this all day long. And if you have time, you have an hour and 40 minutes or something, go watch this movie on Tubi because it's worth it for Harry Dean Stanton, in my opinion. And I have a small thing or a major thing with for Andy Potts, and yeah, it's a major thing. Even as an older lady, she would still get strange things from me and be very disappointed in me, I'm sure too. But oh, another one I watched. Yeah, this was I just finished watching actually, called The Georgia Peaches. This is another thing that was on Tubi as well. So it just keeps playing into each other. The Tubi chain of truck exploitation, exploitation, whatever you want to call it. This is another failed TV pilot, but this was produced by Roger Corman. This stars Tanya Tucker, the singer, Terry Nunn, who was also a singer. She's the singer from Berlin. She's in this movie. Lane Smith, Sally Kirkland, and Burton Gilliam, and the one and only Dirk Benedict in this movie, who drives a souped up Firebird that has like moonshine that shoots out the back of it to set it on fire, and some kind of fly hook thing he uses in the movie. And it's just about these two I guess aspiring singers who get mixed up in the moonshine business, and then somebody gets mixed up in the tobacco, like illegal tobacco business, and they get hired by Lane Smith, who's a government stooge, to basically be the basically find these people out who are running this illegal tobacco industry. And in the middle of all this, you get some amazing chases with Dirk Benedict, and you get some pretty hopping songs. This is Tanya Tucker in this movie. She's singing with Terry Nunn, and I think that alone is worth it to watch this movie. And go check that out. I'd say if you want to go, turn your brain up and watch something wholesome. Those last two films are in for you guys to watch. Dust Bunny was the thing I watched, and I
saw that.
Yeah, I see the poster for that, and I read the premise for that, and I said, "Hey, I'm all over that." Because if you don't know what this film is, it's basically if Pan's Labyrinth and the Professional had a baby. A little girl witched up a monster from under her bed. It becomes real and kills her parents and kills her step parents. And she hires Mads Mikkelsen, who's a random neighbor. I think he's named Random Neighbor in the credits, to either slay the creature or get away from the creature. And this thing is literally a giant bunny that comes out from underneath her bed. And it plays on this whole, childhood rules things about, the bed, like the bed is home base, and like you can't get hurt there. And like, Sigourney Weaver shows up in a amazing role as like his handler, and she's got like guns in her shoes and stuff. And David, whose last name I cannot pronounce ever, shows up as like an agent in this movie. And this is just fun. If you haven't watched this yet, you can. Yeah, I don't want to give a whole lot away, but yeah, just check out that movie, Dust Bunny. If it looks silly, then you're not watching it for the right reasons. Let's put it that way. Yeah. Um, there was other stuff. I just can't recall what that is because I was frazzled before we did the show. So I'm going to leave my watches at that. But there are more besides enjoying Danhausen's debut on Raw because that's just a pure good for the WWE right now. You need to bring back the funny, and that's going to help things. Tonight we're here. We're back again. I was promised I was going to keep this show fun, and our next three are already lined up, and I have, tonight is no exception though. And I wish Iris could have been here talking about one of these films for sure, because we're doing Welcome Home, Brother Charles. We're doing Brain Damage. Being is, both phallic worm type things, kill people and do funny things. So we're going to talk about these two films and the choking and the blue juice of it all, and I'm the head and ladder of it all. We'll start with Welcome Home, Brother Charles, right after this trailer.
Brother Charles is home. His mood's as black as his skin. He done the man's time, paid the man's price. Now he's back on the street, looking to even some scores. Welcome home, Brother Charles. The most outrageous, terrifying movie about the black experience you'll ever see. It tells it like it is and the way some people think it should be. Welcome home, Brother Charles. When they're nailing the lid down on you, not much to lose by fighting back. Brother Charles has a secret weapon. His victims couldn't talk about it, their wives wouldn't. After you've seen it, you will. Welcome home, Brother Charles. They tried to take everything he had, including his manhood. A Crown International picture, rated R.
Right there for a second. That's your station break, y'all. All right. You open the thing here. There it is. All right, we're going to this in 3, 2, and a 1. Welcome home, Brother Charles from 1975. Yeah. Your plot synopsis is this: after being released, a wrongfully imprisoned black man, not really, exacts vengeance on those who's crossed him via the power of his newly prehensile penis, which can hypnotize women and asphyxiate men. This is written and directed by James Jama Fanaka, who biggest claim to fame, he gave us the Penitentiary sequels, and those aren't bad. Those Penitentiary films. Who's in that film? The first one, I believe. I forget now, but somebody pretty prominent.
It's Isaac Kennedy.
Yes, that's right.
Isaac Kennedy, I'm pretty sure.
This stars a whole lot of folks you've probably never seen other things. Marla Monte plays Charles, Brother Charles, if you will. I didn't go too far into this, but yeah, let's just get into the meat and the snake and the potatoes of this fucking movie. And actually, you were real excited because you said you never seen a better strangulation scene than you do in this movie. I thought it was hilarious. I'll start with Mike though. Mike, what'd you think of Welcome Home, Brother Charles?
So my first mistake was not taking the second half of the synopsis in enough of a literal sense, because this movie ends up turning into a monster movie after not too long. If you catch my drift, because there's a monster waiting to be unleashed in this movie. But yeah, before that, it kind of comes off like a typical blaxploitation movie that has all the elements you like. I mean, it's rude, it's crude, it's violent, it's hilarious, maybe unintentionally in many parts. But yeah, this was a first time watch for me. I got a kick out of it. Uh, and I'll leave it general, like if we just want to do like general intro thoughts on it. But I read that this was made while the director was attending UCLA, so it had to be done like part time on weekends, like in between classes. So that's a kind of cool element to that too. It is like lower budget, and it is memorable, and we get somewhat of a money shot towards the end, and I had a blast with it. Like I was laughing, I was hooting and hollering, and I think that Vinegar Syndrome released like a Blu-ray maybe of this. I thought I saw that when I was googling around about it. But yeah, what a discovery! What a find! I mean, one of the fun elements of doing cinema beef for me is oftentimes at least one out of the two movies is something I had never seen, never heard of, and it's an experience. I would say it's always usually glad to have had. Now, the other movie I have seen before, but yeah, this one definitely a first time watch. Um, I liked it. I had fun with it, and I'll leave it there for the moment.
Cool. X.
Not a first time watch for me, but this is definitely the movie that proves that BBC doesn't just stand for British Broadcasting Corporation. um, I always read a lot into movies, especially the low budget shit. So, once again, with my bullcrap analysis, there's a lot to unpack in this movie, Giggity. And I feel like I'm not qualified to do that unpacking. I am I am too white and I cannot murder anyone with my penis, which happens in this movie. And an amazing, like Mike said, it's the money shot. It's needs to be seen to be believed. But this movie addresses for me, or at least it, nudges some important and weird issues. And I think the main thing that kicks everything off, Charles gets arrested, okay? And like wrongfully, and Gary said not really, and that's accurate. But he gets arrested by a character that I call the angry white cop. And the angry white cop tries to cut Charles's dick off with what was it, like a straight razor? Is that what that was? Or a box cutter, something? Which is a traumatic experience. It would be for anyone.
It's like a blunt blade or something. I don't even know what the hell
Yeah.
it was,
Yeah, it's something. And I think the reason that the angry white cop was so angry is because his wife was having an affair with a black guy. So the act of trying to, whack off the tallywhacker is transference and is projection at a humiliating and ultra violent level. And it's probably not because of the emotional aspect of the affair, because there's probably not much love left between the angry white cop and his wife anyways. But I don't think that the angry white cop would have been that mad if his wife had been stripping a white guy on the side. The angry white cop is mad because he has the idea that a black guy might have a bigger dick than him. So when you look at it through sort of that lens, Welcome Back, Brother Charles fits into that weird sort of 70s and 80s idea where movies were centered around interracial sex and big black cock. Think about Mandingo. Think about Drum. Hell, think Blazing Saddles or even History of the World Part 1. White women were fascinated and enthralled by black men with big dicks. That was just a weird sort of subgenre in that time. Now, Brother Charles is more modern, I guess, if you will. It's grittier. had the budget of a pack of cigarettes, but it perpetuates that same myth because there are scenes where Charles is taking his revenge against the people who have wronged him, and all he does is whip out his dick in front of a white woman, and they go into a literal trance, slack-jawed, wide-eyed, and they will do whatever Charles wants if they can get their favorite body parts around Charles's, well, Mancow used to call it his coal sausage. So not only that, but after going back, the women don't go back because they're hypnotized. Charles leaves them with these post-hypnotic suggestions that help him murder their husbands. This is all based on mythic stereotypes. Not every woman's going to drop her panties and do the hip spill for a black guy's cock, and not every black guy is hung like a horse. But Jamafanaka, the director and writer, has this understanding about what kind of hold that stereotype has over white guys, and he uses it to fantastical and in a lot of ways very comical effect. The white man's got the political power to keep the black man down, but the black man has the width and the girth to destroy a white man's heterosexual relationship and lure white women to the dark side, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
There are other themes here. I mean, Charles had a difficult time finding a job because of his criminal record. And when you can't get a gig, you get desperate and you could potentially do things that get you into trouble again. And in the movie, Charles calls that the white man's installment plan. 2 years here, 5 years there. It's a tragic cycle, and it's one that this society can't solve or has refused to solve. So it's no wonder that Charles sees the white man as the enemy, because the white men are the ones who put him away to begin with. They're trying to cut his dick off. So if you can't beat him in the courts, he'll kill him with the help of all these dignitized white women by strangling them with the thing that they subconsciously fear the most, his big black cock.
Did I just hear dignitized?
Yes, you did. And where do you go after you murder a cop and a lawyer and you try to murder a judge? You go back to jail. So in the end, Charles beats the system with the encouragement of his girlfriend and avoids prison and, well, the most permanent way possible. This movie came out in 1975. I think we are way past the spoilers deadline here. Anyway, I think it's a great movie. I think it's a little preachy. I think some of Charles's monologues are a little bit too on the nose. But the way that it plays into those archetypal fears of sexuality, of insecure white men, it's fascinating. And I imagine, and again, I can't say this definitively because I am just way too Caucasian, but I imagine that some black people, when they saw it, were empowered by that message, if not seriously, then at least in a whimsical way. So yeah, I had a lot of fun with that.
Yeah.
And yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, yeah, it has that kind of like first movie touch to it where you see the subtext and you see it working on like the literal and the meta level, and kind of like you get this a lot sometimes with movies early in a director's career or a director writer's career where maybe they haven't quite mastered the art of like where the line should be on like meta versus literal. And that's why I think like when I was saying like some of the stuff in this movie I was like laughing at, but I could still see and hear like what message they were trying to get across. And you laid it out pretty well. Like I don't even really need to add to a lot of the explanation you had, but I thought that was cool because it really did play on the stereotype of like the big black dick is going to hypnotize women or white women, and there ain't nothing the white man can do about it. And like I thought it was like well done within the context of the broader message of the movie, even like when it came beyond like the sexual prowess stuff. But like you said, when he was talking about like you get out of jail and it's almost like your ticket is already punched to return eventually because of how the system's set up.
Right.
So I was pretty impressed with all that going on in this movie, because when it starts out, it's like, oh, this is going to be like a little entertaining movie, and I'm not going to think much about it, but the more it goes on and you're actually listening, you're like, okay, there's actually something here, you know?
Yeah, it's an interesting balance between very straightforward and pointed social commentary and the concept of hypno-fucking.
Yes.
Oh man, this is the first time watching me too, and a lot of stuff X said really hits, on social commentary or whatnot. But I think this film does well is, Charles is not a man you're supposed to like. From jump, he's a pimp, he's mean, he's crude, all the stuff. He's just a piece of shit, But yeah, so after he gets out of jail, it's almost like it has two different parts of the movie. The part where he's supposed to not feel pity for him because he's a piece of shit, and then afterwards where you find out, what the effect of the man is on him and his lifestyle. Obviously, okay, actually he couldn't find a job, and he lost his girlfriend. He lost his business to a rival pimp, if you will, and it's just his life is a mess. So he was no way but to get revenge with his newfound power, which I don't know exactly where it comes from because he has like this medallion thing around his neck, and does it come from that? And you really don't know. All of a sudden, his dick becomes like sentient and, like X says, can hypnotize white women. Which is you want to laugh at stuff like that, but I got a lot of like Clockwork Orange vibes from this. Like when Alex gets out of the institute, like all of his life and all of his friends are gone, but he has a through line to, although his dick doesn't work right or it works all too well now, his old girlfriend still kind of wants to hang out with him. So there's that, so that's the one big difference there, I'd say, in the Clockwork Orange analogy. Um, but yeah, when he starts to go like full like catatonic, hypnotizing the white girls, and I just love it, because you laugh a little bit at the absurdity of this film, but at the same time you're kind of rooting for it, but you weren't rooting for him in the first part. So I think that's something this film does extremely well, is to make you take a guy who's not a nice guy, you turn him into a guy that you're kind of say, yeah, fuck these people, you try to cut your goddamn dick off, and now why not plow his wife and kill him if he's sleeping in the same bed, but it's just, yeah, it gets crazy real fast, and I love my time with it. I love the soundtrack to this. It just that kicks a lot of ass, and it's not a big budget film, like I said. It's made out of a pack of cigarettes, as he says, and um, I think it really works. Like especially the soundtrack when they're inside the strip bars, and that works really well. And I've made a comment to Iris where her former co-host partner, Mike Murphy, one of my mentors, if you will, would call titties flapjacky, and there was a very flapjacky titty scene in that movie. I think you appreciate it very much because once that top comes off, the things aren't too perky. So there's that in this movie, and when you get the reveal of what happens, which I love about this film, you only get like one reveal of what's really happening. Otherwise, it's just, yeah, he's murdering these people somehow. But when he drops Trow and in the bedroom with was it the judge that he does this to?
It was the lawyer.
Oh, the lawyer. He's in the bedroom with the lawyer, and you see the hang down just coming down, and then it hits his neck. It all is revealed. It looks like he's being attacked by a fucking flaccid dildo, but at the same time, it really works because you only get like that one reveal of what's really happening. And again, I love films like this where they don't really explain to you how it's happening. It's just there's a point in the film where I thought it was a delusion, like because the psychiatrist was talking. So I thought maybe this was all in Charles's head, like an American Psycho type thing, but apparently it wasn't. So I'm all for the guesswork of a movie like this, and it's just crazy. And like Mike said, it's on. Well, it's out. I think it's out of print now in Vinegar Syndrome, but I wish I want to look into it and see if there's like a commentary or something, because there might be, but I don't know. I want to know more about this movie, and because for a film that is the premise of I've always heard about, it's the film where a guy kills somebody with his dick, and it shouldn't be this good, but it really is. I really dig it quite a bit. The transition of it and everything about it. It's a nice stew of a film, and I'll
This
kick it back.
Anaconda don't want none unless you've abused the legal system, son.
There you go. Exactly.
Yeah, Gary, I would love a commentary on this if it was available anywhere.
Oh yeah, same.
Oh man, I'll kick it back to you, Mike. Anything else you want to say about it, sir?
Just I think it's another example of like when it comes to the genre of black exploitation. I mean, I've seen a decent amount. I would still call myself a novice, but I know there's people out there that have seen even less than me, and I think a lot of times when they hear the word black exploitation, like a few of the big name movies to come out of the genre might come to mind, but to me, seeing this for the first time is just another example of how expansive it really is if you get in there and like kind of poke around and look for things under the surface, under the ones that like everybody knows. And there's nothing wrong with those ones either. I mean, lots of them are entertaining. Something like Black Caesar, Shaft, of course, come to mind. Those are great, but the genre, there's a lot of treasure like hidden in this genre that probably a lot of people are unaware of, myself included. So I would say like take the time to like just explore and look for the gems such as this one.
I'm not sure I would suggest this one as like your jumping off point. Like if you've never seen a black exploitation flick, maybe don't kick it off with Welcome Back, Brother Charles, because it's a little bit intense. I'm a Truck Turner guy myself. I love that movie. That would be my entrance point. That or maybe even Coffee with Pam Grier. But yeah, I love this movie. Like. I think Gary had a great point when it's got some Clockwork Orange sort of elements to it. I didn't think about that while I was watching it, but yeah, that's a really good comparison. But yeah, I mean, I'd say if he has like some black exploitation experience, hell, even if you've seen Behind the Green Door, go ahead and watch Welcome Back, Brother Charles.
And I was muted. It's okay. Yeah, this is a great first time watch, and I was trying to look up the Blu-ray of this to see what's on there really fast. So hold that thought for 1 second, guys, and I'm gonna look it up real fast. Welcome back. Welcome home.
I also like the fact that whenever Charles is hypnotizing somebody, they always show a close up of his mouth and he's licking his lips.
Yes.
And this happens like 18 times in the movie. It's like, just will you stop?
The part where he makes the woman go hang out by the kids' room, I guess, to make sure his dick don't attack the kids. I guess that's the thing. I can't stop laughing because man, it's so funny. Oh my gosh. Yeah, nothing really. Yeah, newly scanned and restored 2K from the 35 millimeter original camera negative. History of LA Rebellion and Jama Panaka, an appreciation by Jan Christopher Horak, director of UCLA Film and Television Archives. You get some history on the director on there. And post-film Q&A with actress Jerry Hayes from 2017 screening of Anime in Brooklyn, New York in 2017. So, yes, nothing, no like historical, hysteria continues, commentary on there at all. Which
nothing like here's where we bought the dick.
Well, in Tank Girl, they made sure they heard that, we built a kangaroo dick and it was just unused, it remained flaccid and not inside Tank Girl. So there's that. Yeah. Uh, I digress. But yeah, this is a great discussion on a film that's pretty fucking silly in parts, but pretty fucking serious in other parts. But go check it out if you can find it. Great. Welcome home, Brother Charles. We're gonna move on to New York City and then some psychedelic worm action craziness and Frank Henenlotter's Brain Damage after the break.
It's funny. One night you go to bed, and when you wake up, everything is different. Now Brian's acting a little peculiar.
He's like a completely different person. I don't even know him anymore.
Something's gotten into him.
Sometimes everything glows with a different kind of light.
Deep into him.
What are you telling me? That we killed someone last night?
Something bad.
Attack me, Brian. Attack me.
Something slimy.
What are you doing?
Something very,
I know something's happened to you.
very
Hell is that?
hungry.
You can't keep killing people every time you're hungry.
You're mine now, Brian. I own you.
Gotta get out of here fast. Go where?
You're a wreck, Brian.
Leave me alone!
Whenever you want to stop hurting, you come to me.
Brain damage. It will turn you inside out.
Brain Damage from 1988, directed and written by Frank Henenlotter. One morning, a young man wakes up to find a small, disgusting creature has attached itself to the base of his brainstem. The creature gives him a euphoric state of happiness, but demands human victims in return. This is a Henenlotter film, so you know it's going to get weird, people, is all I'll say. This stars Rick Hurst as Brian, your main lover of the blue of the brain goo, the blue stuff, if you will. Jennifer Lowry as Barbara, Theo Barnes as Morris, lots of other folks, but one of the biggest names in here is Zachary, famous horror host who is also he's the voice of Aylmer, which is the worm that sings and talks in this movie and gives him the blue juice, and hilarity ensues. Phallic craziness. Effects by Gabe Bartalos, and I will say that all day long. I love Gabe Bartalos. I think one of the shining achievements to me is the troll in Cat's Eye. So there's that. I'll kick it to you first, Dex. Brain Damage. Lay it on us, brother.
First time watch for me. I don't know why. I just never got around to watching it. And there's a lot to like about it. Like you said, Zachary as Aylmer's voice is fun. I laughed out loud when Kevin Van Hentenrich showed up on the subway with Belial's basket.
So good. So
that was
good.
Really funny. And I liked seeing the swimming pool cues in that bar scene because I'm an old head, and that song brought back a lot of nice memories. So that was really cool. I think, and this is weird for a Henenlotter movie, but I think the movie's too clean visually. It's shiny, Captain. And for a movie that takes place in the late 80s of New York City, I kind of wanted something grittier, you know? Show me more movie marquees from 52nd Street. You can tell that a lot of the sets on Brain Damage were constructed, which I don't know. I mean, I'm glad the filmmakers had the money for that, but it kind of takes away from the overall believability, if you could believe this movie at all. Aylmer, Parasite, is sort of a catch-all for all the vices that people tend to be attracted to. He doesn't really choose Brian randomly, but the fact that Aylmer makes his presence known by injecting Brian's brain with his psychotropic juice, which leads to an immediate behavioral change, it underlines for me the point that you never know who's going to have a problem with something. you know, and it could be a substance, it could be an act, some sort of addiction. It could be the most conservative, jock looking or attractive person, you know. And Aylmer is all of that. He's drugs, he's power, he's alcohol, he's sex, he's that thing that overstimulates the pleasure centers in your brain. He's the dragon that you can't stop chasing. So it's no surprise to me that Aylmer looks friendly, fucking goofy. I mean, as friendly as a phallic parasite that lives on your neck and eats human brains can be. He's got these sleepy blue eyes and a crooked smile and a soothing voice, but he's an asshole, just like a lot of people who seem nice. He's a gypsy, the acid king, and he destroys not only Brian, but just about everything and everyone that he loves. So for me, Brain Damage starts out as a really fun kind of monster movie. And then it turns into this just absolute tragedy. And it's hard not to see the movie through that lens. But if you read old interviews with Henenlotter, he doesn't feel like that's the point of the movie. That's accidental to him. So it's a good thing that you get to interpret art as the audience and not simply the creator. So anyway, all that being said, I don't know how to feel about this movie. It's gooey and it's disgusting, and there's some lowbrow humor to it that appeals to me. Um, the famous scene where the woman wants to give Brian a blowing job, but she ends up putting Aylmer in her mouth instead, and that is really uncomfortable enough to be funny. But there's such a strong tonal shift at the end, um, and it goes towards weird sadness. And it points directly to the indifference of the New York general populace to the crimes being committed all around them. And the ending, which I'm not going to spoil completely, but the ending um, could either be incredibly sad, with addiction taking its final toll, or they could have gone super Hollywood happy, very hallmarky, and the main character overcomes their addiction and becomes this productive, tax-paying member of society. But instead, what we get is this thing that is strangely ambiguous. It's almost like the end of Fulci's City of the Living Dead, where you almost feel like you know what happened, but you're not quite sure what happened. So I don't know. It's weird. There's a lot of back and forth in this movie to me. It's a lot like drugs, I guess. I don't know. I did acid once. I had a great time, but it's not an experience that I'm really clamoring to repeat.
All right, Mike.
Yeah, I'm totally on board with the idea of this being like allegory for drug use, addiction, because I agree. It starts out, I mean, from the jump, like Elmer, the way they play Elmer almost kind of like straight. He's like this parasitic drug worm, but like the interactions with him seem pretty straight, like with his dialogue and the conversations he's having. I mean, I don't know if that was like a purposeful choice to kind of show like the allure, another alluring aspect of maybe like getting into the drug scenes or when you're first starting out, because I felt like, yeah, the euphoria and the fun, the experience, it kind of mimics like like drug use, I guess, in like the early stages, and it slowly shifts and goes from a fun add-on experience to dependence and addiction. And I think like it culminates as we're making our way to the end, and like Elmer's former owners decide they can't live without Elmer and his juice. And we get the confrontation. I do agree there is like a tonal shift. um I have seen this before, and I actually never thought about it the way X was saying, like for where it's taking place. Yeah, it kind of is missing some of like the city the city scope and landmark. Well, I guess you would call them like the dingy landmarks, um, like show us the grimy shots of the neon signs and every corner of the worst parts of the city. Make a because that was always a feature of like this era, like of movies in like Chicago or New York that I really liked. Is like I remember I was very young in the 80s still. I mean, I was born in 80, so obviously I was young in the 80s, but like one thing that I remember as a kid watching movies that took place in like almost, most big metropolitan cities, they scared the shit out of me as a kid. Like I thought these places were like just a 100% in danger once the sun went down. And to a certain extent, so like areas of them definitely were. But I remember just thinking as a kid from, I'm not in like the backwoods, but my city compared to all these is small. And the movies I would consume made me think like you don't go to these places well when the sun's going down. It's like you're running from vampires basically, and I guess a metaphorical and a literal sense. You get the hell out of there before the sun goes down because things change. And maybe the movie for taking place in like a city like that is missing a little bit of that. So that was a good observation, especially on a first time watch because I think I've seen this once or twice before. Um, it definitely had like your cool kind of stop motion. I think in a couple shots with Elmer and his attacks, and yeah, the ending. I guess you could take it like either way. I mean, I see it as like a tragic conclusion to addiction, and overall, yeah, I like the movie. It's a very interesting movie. It's kind of hard, like it's almost hard to like box it in too, because like you think when you kind of read the description or hear from about it, generally it's going to be like a straightforward, just like kind of body horror movie, but there's a little more going on. It kind of pushes some boundaries. It definitely, I would put it in the category of like an oddball movie. Definitely something like most people, I talk to about movies have seen it at least once, and there's a lot to like about it. It's just, yeah, it's a little bit of an odd one for sure, but overall, I do like it. I just Elmer as the character, the worm, and the voice just always crack me up, and just how straight he sounds, and how matter of fact he is in explaining it. So, yeah, I'll leave it there. But yeah, another one I do enjoy.
Yeah, this is a lot of what you guys said. It rings true. I love the grossness of this. I love the silliness of this, but at the same time, the way it handles addiction is almost to like New Jack City Pookie like proportions because he gets addicted to the blue goo, if you will, and the way his body breaks down, the way he reacts to not having it, it reminds you of and they always say that Chris Rock in New Jack City was probably one of the best examples of how to play a role like that correctly. And he gets the shake, starts convulsing, all this stuff. So he has no choice but to do what he has to do and feed his worm the brains, which the brain stealing scenes are just hilarious. I love them to death. That the I don't know if that's a bathhouse or what's going on there where he kills the muscle man. I wish I would have seen more of that. Because this is a Henenlotter film after all. But just craziness and the stop motion of Mike mentioned. One of my favorite shots of the film is when you see the blue juice, come up from his bedside, and you see the phone moving around and stuff. I really love that shot. I think that's pretty amazing. And Zachary, I think I might have had Zachary around my house. I don't even know. Maybe on some weird UHF channel somewhere I couldn't tell you, but our horror host is Svengoolie, who's now shared amongst everybody, which I think is pretty spectacular. So enjoy that. He used to be ours, now he's everybody's. Uh, um, plays the role so well. This smart, basically, friendly worm thing, which is friendly at first, but at the same time, towards the middle half of the film, basically lays it out to Brian and say, "Well, I guess you need me now, so you're gonna basically be my Seymour and find me fresh meat." Because that's what this reminded me of right away was what I saw the first time and this time was Henenlotter saw Little Shop of Horrors and said, "I'm gonna make this really fucked up." And you know what? There's some really fucked up shit in this movie. That the blowjob scene that X mentioned, I think is, man, it's so funny and so ridiculous that she would keep fucking sucking this thing, which is probably slimy as balls. But she has no standards apparently, dude. She blow him in a fucking alleyway, this fucking slimy phallic thing that she thinks is his dick. I guess she deserves to get her brains caved out. I don't even know, but it's weird, man. And I love the couple that you get at the beginning of the film and follow you throughout the film. They're looking for Aylmer, and you find out he's like this forever thing. I just watched the freaking Twilight Zone earlier, and the Long Live Walter Jacobson episode with Kevin McCarthy came on, and it kind of reminded me of that. Really, Elmer's been everywhere. He's been around since this, that, and the other, and tell the whole story. I love it to death, and it's just it's a good time. I guess it's probably the tamest of any Henenlotter film as far as the gore goes, because you work with Gabe quite a bit on the Basket Case films and stuff, and probably on Bad Biology too, which is probably, you want extreme Henenlotter, that's the one you watch is Bad Biology. It's freaking strange. It's much more strange than this. But this is meant to be fun. It's also meant to make you think about the addiction thing, and I think it's plays in a pretty, again, a surprisingly incredible role in this film. The way they handle addiction and the way Brian handles his high, and any way to get it at this point, to the point of where you get the end of this movie. And yeah, I agree with you guys. You really don't see the real dirty dankiness of this of New York City in this film. It's just one of the flaws, but then you have other films for that. So I'm gonna leave Brain Damage and say it's almost perfect, and I do enjoy my time with it. I will kick it to you, Mike. Any other thoughts on the film?
I would say check it out if you're a Henenlotter fan, or I mean maybe because it's a little tamer. I mean it's weird to call a movie tamer that has a blue worm infesting people with drugs and boring its way into various body parts of people. But maybe that makes it a good intro to Henenlotter, because it's kind of watch this, and if you're on the right track to something you want more of, continue the journey. If not, if Brain Damage is a little too much for you, then I guess you can kick it to a different director. So maybe in that sense, it's a good first one for people who aren't familiar with Henenlotter. So I guess I'll just leave it there. Yeah, I enjoyed my time with it.
Cool. X.
Aylmer is the miniature version of Shai Hulud. May his passing cleanse the world.
I don't know who that is, but yeah.
It's the sandworm from Dune.
Oh, okay. I gotcha. But unlike Brother Charles, this one has a stacked Blu-ray you can purchase from Arrow. It's just all over the place, up and down. The director's commentary, special effects videos, full-length documentary with cast and crew. It's all over the place. So if you really like this movie and you really want to invest in a really good print of the film and a good edition of the film, that Arrow edition is right in your wheelhouse, I'd say. And I don't think you'll regret it, because I have You have a great time with Somi. You pity the man at the same time, as far as like your main character goes. So it just exactly keeps it light, and I will say that it Tilly doesn't have to keep it light. It's kind of like the Dalton of fucking phallic parasites. You know, be nice. Does not to be nice. You know, Elmer is he's the man. He is the cleaner. But I'll leave it at that. And we'll come back to close out the show.
Greetings, cinema lovers. This is Golden Brown checking in from Los Angeles, California. I'm a DJ, producer, broadcaster here, and I have been contacted by none other than Beefy Gary to give you guys a top 5 songs to go on a psychedelic murder spree. So that is our subject. I'm going to run down 5 tracks that I think would be fun to listen to while we go out and get murderous. Starting with number 1, I'm going to go with Donovan, the hurdy-gurdy man. Ooh, boy, nothing creepier than this song. Old school folk psych at its finest. Creepy faint vocals and acoustic guitar with electric guitar color over the top. This makes time slow down. Driving steady drum beat, creepy stuff from Donovan on that one. Number 2, I got Diamanda Galas with John Paul Jones, and this is Skotomim, and this is Diamanda's guttural, kind of Middle Eastern style vocals, eerily over John Paul Jones' bass. They lend a fun, torturous, kind of murderous mayhem of a track. And that is my second pick. Number 3 would be Ministry's Scarecrow. Starting off with static over a reverb-stressed drum beat, droning guitars, and distorted vocals from Uncle Al Jurgensen. He croons and leaves you in a state of anxiety and paranoia. Utterly delightful creepiness there. Number 4 borders into a psych hop, trip hop, psych hop. It's Tricky's Hell Is Around the Corner. You can vibe out to this one. Tricky rambles on over a slow bass groove, which is actually an old school Isaac Hayes sample, and Martina Topley Bird adding hypnotic melodies over the top. Delightful darkness on this one. Do not sleep on this track. It is good. And then number 5, I got Skinny Puppy's Killing Game. Piano leads us into a dark lullaby or nightmare, however you want to look at it. Spoken word vocals and an orchestral background leading into an absolute epic psychotic ending. Total creepy tune by Skinny Puppy. So that is my top 5. Running it back real quick, I had none other than Donovan's Hurdy-Gurdy Man. Then I had Diamanda Galas, and the title of that track was Skotosim. Then I had Ministry with Scarecrow. Then Tricky, Hell Is Around the Corner. And then finishing off with Skinny Puppy, The Killing Game. I hope you enjoyed my tracks. Go check them out. You can find them all streaming on your streaming platform of choice. And thanks for the opportunity, Gary. I'm signing off from Los Angeles. By the way, I am a DJ here. You can catch me at 88.9 FM KXLU out of Los Angeles, or kxlu.org around the world. My Instagram is Golden Brown Mundo. It's GOLDNBROWNMUNDO. And thank you, and enjoy enjoy those flicks, y'all. Thank you.
Well, folks, this was the first episode of what I'm calling Cinema 4.0 because I forget which version this is, and I really don't care at this point. It's just been doing this too goddamn long on and off, and pleased to come on with these gentlemen to talk about these fucking crazy fucking films, and that's what this is all about, you know, brotherhood and sisterhood and community, and you know, just discussing crazy shit that you watched, and you know, of the friendliest of friendly nature. And I will kick it to you, Mike, and any plugs you have and anything else you want to say, sir, go ahead.
I think I mentioned at the beginning, Fresh Cut. Well, maybe not the podcast. I talked about the movies. I do a weekly show called Fresh Cuts where we talk about the latest horror movies. Luckily, luckily is, I guess, relative, but into 2026, there's been a lot of theatrical horror to start out the year. So almost every episode so far has been covering something in the theater. But when there isn't, we will look to VOD because there's always plenty there to turn to when we need to. And then the main show we do, which we finally just recorded a new episode for the first time in a while. No More Room in Hell is our kind of main show where we pick 2 to 3 movies kind of with a similar theme or some type of connection and cover those, and we'll talk horror news. We'll catch up everyone with what we're watching. And those are the 2 main ones. There's a couple other smaller ones that just don't record very often, so maybe I'll announce them when I actually get a new episode of them recorded. Those can both be found on Dark Discussions Network as well as the No More Room in Hell podcast YouTube channel. So I'll leave it at that.
Cool. X, any plugs for you, sir?
Well, I mean, I'm alive. Cootie and I are doing exceedingly well. As most of you probably know, we did a show called Kiss the Goat, which was all about devil movies. It's probably out there somewhere. Check Spotify or something. You can find my writings over at Biff Bam Pop and on the Cultural Gutter. We may have something in the works for a new show. I don't know. I don't want to talk about it a whole lot yet because we're still in the very early stages of conversation. But right now, we're not as visible as we used to be. And that's just because we're hanging out with each other and hanging out with grandbabies and family and doing stuff like that. So this is the first show I've been on in a long time. I don't even know how long it's been since I've been on a show, Gary. It's been a hot minute. But anyway, yeah, I'll be back. We'll talk about that later, I guess.
Miss your brother for sure, man.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, me, this show. And you can find the Butcher Shop feed. I have food in my mouth right now, unfortunately. But I'll leave it be. Last Call of Torchies. Almost done Walter Hill's directing career. Next year you'll see, and we're recording that next week. Me and the boys will be the Deadwood pilot for HBO. Patreon will be the Deadwood movie that came out. Very excited about doing that. That should be the next show you hear on the speed, actually. But the next Sim Beef that's coming up will be 2 films. Suzanne will show up for this, I'm sure, because her man's is in one of them, and Iris possibly too, and possibly all of us. We'll see what happens. Like I said, we're playing it real smooth. You know, if one of us can't show up, it's okay because we have enough people then, which is great. Or we're doing Ruckus, which is a film with Dirk Benedict from 1980, and we're doing First Blood from 82, the one the very first one that brought John Rambo into the world. And of course, starring great Sylvester Stallone and the great Richard Crennan, the great Brian Dennehy, and a lot of smaller folks in there at the time. Dave Caruso shows up in that movie. I keep forgetting all about that, but yeah, I love First Blood so much. Looks amazing.
Shave him dry.
It looks so amazing in 4K. It does. That's coming up next on this show. I'm excited about doing that. And if all went well with this show, you heard a music segment from my friend at the Nibs Vinyl on Pico Avenue in LA. DJ GOLDN BROWN did something for this program, and I'm sure he plugged all of his stuff. He does a radio show and does a regular DJ set, and decided to help brother out and have some fun with some stuff. So if you want to hear the full version of that, I think that's how that's going to work. You have to go over to the Patreon, download this episode, but that's going to have the full music cues and all that stuff that, the red flag for us for having 100 downloads and say, you know what, you're stealing from us, but not really. Okay. But I'll leave it at that. This has been the Sin Beef Podcast, where if you've got beef, we've got the grinder. See you next time.
Peace.
Bye.